Call the meeting to order, February 10th, 2025. Joining and saluting the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let it be noted that we are down 2 selectmen tonight. Mr. Moody and Mr. Benziano are absent, and Mr. Bean and Ms. Estes and myself are here. All right, consent agenda warrants. Number one. I'm sorry.
We have no heat in the building. No.
AP warrants, number 21, 128, 2025, number 22, 12, 23, 24, I'm sorry, 2024, and number 2 payroll registers, number 3, 116, 2025, number 4, 123, 2025, and number 5, 130, 2025. And we do need a motion and a so moved.
Second.
Okay, any other further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay, acceptance of the minutes of the select board meeting on January 27th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of January 27th, 2025.
Okay,
You're gonna have the second on those in.
I can do that, right?
Okay, well,
No, we're gonna have to skip
we're
it.
gonna have to skip
Okay,
that. We don't have
table.
enough. We don't have a quorum for that. so-
Okay, we'll get it next time.
Yep.
Old business under E, number 1, sign the municipal water access policy.
This is the same policy that we talked about 2 weeks ago. And it's just with the amendment that, the words that say, non-motorized watercraft.
Oh, that's right, too.
Okay.
For the, Lakewood Beach area.
Oh, that's right, okay.
But you have to make a motion.
No,
We just need to sign it.
Okay.
We just need to sign it.
Yeah, there was discussion of making a sign and putting it out at the beach area. It's on order and the sign reads. Sign reads hand carry only, boat launch, no motors. And there's a COVID-19 sign that's 18 by 24. I'll remove that because that's no longer in play. And that would be a good fit for it right there, because it's pretty cluttered with signs as it is, so hopefully it will be a little bit more noticeable, and I'll get that up obviously as soon as it comes in.
Right, okay, thank you. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Number 2, updates to Madison personnel policy.
So Heidi and I are working on the specifics of the personnel policy that hasn't been, that was last updated in January of 23. That's the last time it was voted on or accepted. And, we've reached out to Matt Tarasevich to make sure that we're gonna be following, labor law precisely. We want to make sure we cover all our bases and we don't have something in our policy that conflicts with state law or something that is not in our policy that we should have. So, I haven't got a price from him yet. Heidi's working on getting the details of what we're gonna send out to him to get a quote from him.
Okay, and so we'll talk about that next time.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Letter F, items of communication, department head reports. ACO,
This,
we
still don't have an ACO. We had 2 applicants, that, applied, and we've been trying to reach them to set up, interviews and have not been able to get them to come in. So we've just left it up on the sign and on the door. We're just gonna keep taking applications until we can get somebody that's willing to, come in and sit for an interview. And I mean, it's getting kind of desperate at this point. It's been a few months.
Who's covering for any of the calls that we have to come in? Is there anybody that's covering for any of
The
them?
sheriff's office right now.
And the other question.
And they don't transport animals.
No,
Right, right. The other question is, like, we have. I don't know, I know we have at least 2 kennels in our town. Have they been inspected so that they can get their licenses? How's that working?
I know that our previous ACO had done kennel inspections when she was on duty,
So they were done before then, before she got done?
before she, yes. Yeah, but I don't know, is it something that needs to
It
be
has
done
to
on
be
an
done
annual
every
basis?
year. Yeah,
All
it
right.
has to be done every year, and if it doesn't get done, the problem is if it doesn't get done, then. Well, now the late fees, February 1st, the late fees go into effect, right?
Mhm.
So it's not their fault, they can't.
No, I mean, we can
license
waive
them,
the late
so-
fees,
right.
can't we?
You can, I certainly would, because you gotta
Yeah.
have, and so I just was curious if their kennel licenses were
Okay,
done, that's all.
I'll check that.
okay, we can do that. Okay, and let it be code enforcement.
We have the report.
There we go. Right. Finance,
Yep. Heidi put in her report in there, all the 1099s, all the 1099 miscellaneous, all the W-2s, everything's gone out
Mhm.
for town employees and everything, and, she had a rough December, January with, family emergency in England, so she's doing everything she can to get caught up and
Yeah.
stay.
how about fire? I see we have a report.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have anything else. Jeff put a highway report on your table.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, just basically, as you can tell, we've been just doing our 2 or 3 inch snowstorms every couple
They
days.
keep coming back.
Pardon?
They keep coming back.
Yeah, they do. We did have a garage inspection by the Main Safety Works. I put a list on the back of that, which some of the things that were, weren't big deals up to the garage that need to be addressed. As you can see, most of them have been taken care of. They were minor. Overall, the garage is in very good shape, safety wise, with those few minor things. And just some updated policies that were, have been overlooked over the years, and we were informed on in case we do get audited by the Department of Labor, will be, up to par. On a couple notes, the traffic light here in town is gonna have an upgrade, which will be starting either the end of this week or possibly into next week. They moved it up from the end of March till these next couple of weeks, depending on the weather. There'll be updated crosswalk signals with cameras and new light heads up overhead.
That's good.
And that's gonna take care of the timing issue too, right?
Yes, correct.
Don't have anybody sitting there at a red light when nobody else is coming the other way.
Correct, and they will be adjusted accordingly, and they will monitor if it needs to be changed or moved or anything, and then it'll be up to, obviously, I'll monitor it for them during the peak hours when no one's around to see if any modifications need to be made. The crosswalk signal up in front of the junior high has not been working for the last week. I do have a call out for to that to be looked at. That is the town's responsibility, not the DOT's, whereas it is on a DOT road, but it's the town's responsibility to maintain it. It is getting up there in years. It's been there probably, I guess, a good 10 years anyways. So in time, it might be not a bad idea to possibly upgrade it.
While you're talking, have you looked at the ones down by the mill? Were they put in at the same time?
No, the ones by the mill were put in when Chimbro started putting the machinery in down to Timber HP.
For the last 4 years or so?
So 2 years, 3 years, last 3 years, and they are the property of Timber HP. That was the agreement that was made with the town and myself back when they were getting started, that if they were to be put up by Chimbro Corporation, and they will be maintained by Timber HP. Route 148, speaking with the Water District, Aerial Engineering, and Ed Mantor of Mantor Construction, who did the cross trenches on 148, which are very rough, and most of them have come to the surface anywhere from an inch to a half an inch. They are gonna be doing some light grinding in the coming weeks, probably not this week, but possibly into next week, to see if they can get some of those ground off a little bit, get them so they're a little bit easier traveling across. They are starting to do some damage to our plow trucks, but the drivers are cautious of going over them. But they're a hard hit with the cutting blades and the plows.
Yeah. Now, is that their responsibility to come?
That is, their responsibility for 1 year after the project is complete.
They must have ground one of them.
They did, the one in front, just a little bit above Campbell's, they did that one. The one in front of Bob's, they're not really exactly sure what they're gonna do with that.
That's terrible.
That's the worst one. So it is being looked into and taken care of. I met with Eric Lottie and Mark Doty last week about the water and the dam over to Lakewood. The water last year, the level of the lake rises up and down according to the season. So in the fall, we drop it down, in the spring, we close the boards to lift it up. Mark, Eric, and I had a discussion, and it was brought up, what would the town proceed, or what would the town's idea would be for the Lake Association to be responsible for lowering and raising the lake levels in the spring and fall.
So we do it now, or it's.
So we currently do it now. Lottie, of course, he lives right there. He has a closer eye. I do go over, weekly and check things, but I just don't get over there as often as I should, to monitor it. And Eric has had a lot of experience in, water movement and ground movement. We had a discussion to see what the town's thought and liability would be if the Lake Association would be responsible for that.
What do you think?
I think it's a good idea for them to be, because they live there,
Right.
and they all have properties around the lake. My only concern would be, the liability. What if something would happen? Not that it would, but
Never know.
you never know. I think that it should be looked into before we make an agreement with anything. Eric has offered to monitor it and take care of it where he lives right there. So I guess I'd like to see it move forward and have a discussion about it, maybe the next meeting, and find out a little bit more of the legalities before we go ahead and do this.
Okay. Can we, I'm sorry. Can we see if we can talk to the town attorney about liability issues or something like that?
Yes.
And then we'll be able to discuss it at the next meeting.
I'm sure there are, other towns that are in a similar situation. The town has always taken care of it, forever, ever since it was replaced. I don't know how many years ago, since they upgraded that. Eric probably would have more of a handle on that, but it has gotten easier to lift and lower the boards without a huge process. We still would maintain and clean out the gates when needed from the debris that floats down through there, of course. Because sometimes that is quite a project. There's a big stick of wood stuck in the gate or whatever, but.
And I do have, I still haven't sent it out. I'm in the process of, creating an email to go to the other town managers on the listserv, the email list, to see what they do in their towns, if they have any lakes or rivers or anything where they manage a dam in their municipality. So,
Get some information to bring to the next meeting
yes,
in East Madison. Now that I.
yes, the next meeting,
My
by the way,
wires got
will be in
crossed.
East Madison.
Oh, sorry.
Eric, do you have something that you'd like to add, really?
Like Jeff said, we had a discussion the other day. What precipitated it was, we're getting a lot of ice damage along the shoreline this winter. One lost, 3 or 4 feet of the bank by the public beach. It goes a little more every year. And it's it's kind of a crapshoot to, figure out when's the best time to lower the lake. This year. Jeff lowered it, I think first November, was it, Jeff?
Yes, I believe it was before we had,
Around there.
yeah, before we had all that heavy rain.
And shortly after that, we got this big heavy rain, so we didn't have time to get down before it froze up again, so. And if anyone wants to see some spectacular ice movement, well, take a look at around the lake here.
Yeah.
There's ice ramparts going up 6 feet in places, wow, so. The whole point of our discussion was to try to refine the time we lower it. So we can compensate for the late fall rains that tend to bring it way up again. So what the late rain we got this year in November was brought the lake up to springtime level. Then it froze. You know, so
Are you guys comfortable doing that work?
I won't say comfortable, but willing.
Willing,
I think it's a good idea to check out the liability aspect of it.
Yeah.
And this would be somebody from the Lake Association, not just a random person that you say, okay, hey, go check it out. It's somebody that would be an officer of the Lake Association or,
Mark and I talked about kind of sharing the task,
okay.
at least initially, and then someone else in the Lake Association. You are out of it.
And one of the other pieces that you have to balance that with is, and I wasn't sure if Jeff covered this or not, but getting the boats out of the water. You know, you have to make sure that everybody has a chance to get their boats out of the water before you lower the lake level. So there's that balancing act that you have to.
A lot more to it than you think.
It's quite a dance.
And normally, what we've done in the past is we just basically went on weather conditions. You know, obviously last year it was nice until the middle of October.
Mhm.
A lot of people wanted to stay out longer. I guess if we were going to do this, it probably might not be a bad idea to set a date. You know, if these guys are if the Lake Association is interested in doing that, you know, set a date, October 1st, water level is being drawn down. So that everybody was aware that the boat needs to be out of the water by October 1st.
That's a good idea.
And it's not that you can't get through the channel, even when it's down, just have to be a little more careful. Where you have to know how to read the buoys, I guess.
Right. Right.
And they do leave the docks in over there as long as possible to accommodate some of the residents that take a, you know, a late boat ride or whatever, so.
Anything else, John?
Pardon?
Anything else?
No, it's good.
Good job, thank you.
Can we go back to the ACO for a minute, please?
We may.
Cheyenne posted a message. She's already been in touch with she's already been in contact with the kennel owners. And they know that they have to wait until we have an ACO for inspection. And she's already told them that we're gonna try to work with them to waive those late fees. They'll still pay the kennel fees, the regular kennel fees,
Yeah.
but we'll work with them to waive the late fees. So she's all over it.
Yeah, because I think the late fees is kind of like, we don't really, the town doesn't get to choose.
Oh, is it a state?
That's
The late fees are
It's
state?
the late
Okay.
fees is a state law, but that's how it is.
Okay, so we will. Okay. Yep. We will work with the state
But
to see if
yeah.
we can't get that waived. Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the library report.
Yep.
You had mentioned the volunteer policy to be approved at this meeting. Is that something that is here or
it is not here. I will have that for the next
next
meeting.
week? Oh, next time, okay.
Sorry.
Oh, I just happened to see that. Okay. Recreation, do we have a?
I don't have a recreation report, but I can tell you that. Danny's doing a great job. He's really enthusiastic. He's looking for. Ways to grow the program. He's got a new software that he's gonna be putting in place called MyRec. And it's gonna allow, registrations online. It's gonna allow all these, the explanation of all the different programs and all the coaches and everything else will have access to it online. And it will also take payments. So if somebody's gotta pay for something, they can put it right in and then we're not gonna implement that part until we get our new accounting system in place because we wanna make sure that they talk to each other and that it has the proper interface. But he's very excited about it.
He's doing okay, there, yeah.
He's doing okay. He passed his 6 months probation. At some point, I will probably bring it to executive committee about the expansion of his role. So,
Jeff's department. Have our report.
we have the report and you have the SRO here.
You have the SRO. We do. Anything to report, SRO, or are you going to?
I'm having a great time in school.
Awesome.
So very enjoyable, but the kids seem to be responding well to it and staff.
I love the report on the helping them cross the road over at the school, the junior high.
Yes, I'm up here.
I saw you out there.
A little chilly some morning.
Yeah.
I've had a few near misses, but
Oh,
better me than the kids.
true, thank you. Okay. Next, we have number 2, living well reports. I see we have the latest one.
Yep.
We have another meeting scheduled, I believe, for next Tuesday. So. So, moving on. Number 3, town managers report on expenses and revenue.
The expenses are under prediction for right now. Let me see. Week 32, we should be at about 61.5%, and we're at 57%. So we're a little under. That doesn't mean that we're not gonna be closer to the reality, to the budget line. At the next meeting, we had, one of the things I wanted to bring up tonight was Dale Clark from the sanitary district brought a bill into my office today for the storm drains. And instead of being $75,000, it was $92,000 because of some of the work that they've had done on Main Street. The bill was $488,000 and they had a grant for $442,000. So that 40,000 difference between the grant and the actual expenses lands on the town. Plus, there's another 20,000 that they kept out and didn't pay the vendor because they want to make, they call it retainage, I think he said, because they want to make sure that the work holds up and it doesn't have any other problems and whatnot. So it looks like there's going to be $37,000 more over what we budgeted for storm drains. And I talked to him and said, it's not going to get paid this fiscal year. We're going to have to build that into the budget for next fiscal year. And their fiscal year is actually January to December, so he doesn't have a problem with that. But that one was quite substantial, you know. I was glad to see him, but not with that. So, and other than that, I think everything is going pretty well, according to plan.
Do you have any questions on that? I'll be okay. Move on. I did.
Oh, good.
A question on that. On the work that was done, was that like a contracted bid on it? Gave a price and that's what he did the work for it, you know?
I believe so, but I'm not sure. It was the sewer pipes, the storm drain pipes, they were expanding the size of them because the pipes down on Main Street, right in the hollow, were not big enough to take the water that was, and you may have seen some of the times where the hollow at Main Street was just flooding out.
Yeah.
So they had to replace those with bigger pipes.
And that wasn't probably in the scope of the original.
Not in the storm drain budget that we did last year, no, it was not part of that. This was something that their sanitary board approved. We didn't have any say in it,
But it's costing.
but it's costing us
So
a lot of fun.
my thing is, usually if something like that happens, the contractor puts in, an extra, and it has to be approved. So I would think the city should, the town should have some say in that stuff. If we're paying the bill,
Yeah,
we ought to have a say in if the extra is okay to pay or not. They just can't come to us and say, this is what you owe, and it's above and beyond the contract. That's
well, we
not-
don't have a contract with them.
You don't have a contract?
We don't have a contract with them. I thought you were talking about their contract with the vendor that put the pipes in.
Yes,
We don't, that's not our contract. They're a separate entity altogether. Anson Madison Sanitary District
okay,
is not under the town government.
so
So
why,
they send us a bill.
so why is the town paying?
Because the storm drain system is within the town
Okay,
and it's not,
and they probably didn't see that until they came on it, upon it. It wasn't anything that was planned then, by the sounds.
the storm drain pipe replacements may have been planned by them, but they didn't tell us in advance. So that we didn't have time to think about, you know, getting it in the budget and making sure that we had enough set aside.
Yeah, that, yeah.
So the money timing wise, it didn't happen.
Yeah, you know. It's costing us money, but we have no say over it. That's
Yes,
my objection.
yeah,
It had to be done, and the town is obviously liable for it. But we need some notice in order to be prepared for it.
yeah. And when I reached out to him this year to see if there was gonna be any rate increases, so that when we do get to the budget, we can talk about, this is how much we need to plan for the sanitary district, and I did the same with the water district. You know, that's the time that it should come up,
That's right.
you know, and last year I didn't do that. And, you know, a new manager, learning the ropes and everything,
Yeah.
so that's on me that I didn't get that information last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, it happens. It's
Yeah.
just, you gotta keep these contractors honest. They see an extra and
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
Thank you.
I believe there might have been an add-on or some extra work that wasn't included in the scope of work in the contract. I'm not 100% sure.
on the Main Street project,
Yes,
okay,
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
Yeah, it
not-
could be.
Yeah,
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
And one other thing under the, under my stuff is, oh, actually, I've got it right here if you wanna look at it. That's the bill that we got. So some of that is normal monthly charges on the storm drains as to what actually came in. The other thing was the, tax installment payment agreement. Can I talk about that now? Okay.
Sure.
We have one resident that is, in foreclosure that is trying to get her payments made and everything else, and she wants a payment plan. And Cheyenne put together a payment agreement, and to make sure that everybody is on the same page. She's got it so that the select board signs off on it. So let me just hand it to you.
so it's in foreclosure.
You can just say a comment, you can say the name, there's nothing private about this.
Okay,
It's in foreclosure
yes.
and you're taking payments on it? How's that work?
We've done that in the past. To work it out with people, I mean, I don't know, I mean, we probably need to make a motion to do this, but. We have done that because I wasn't on the board necessarily, maybe when they did it, okay, but it's been like. Because somebody can't make payments, hasn't been able to come through and pay their taxes. They make a payment, they can make a payment arrangement. Because we don't really wanna just boot people out that actually live there,
Right.
type of thing,
But does the
necessarily,
town
trying to
own the
work it
property
out
right
with
now?
them. What's that?
Does the town own the property right now where it's foreclosed on?
They do,
They're
but
in
they
foreclosure
don't,
now.
but they don't
haven't
necessarily,
taken
they don't
possession.
take ownership of it, and they're still responsible right now for what they're.
The homeowner is.
And so
This
once you
isn't
get,
the one that we voted on.
no,
Okay.
that was,
That was different,
yeah. So when we get to when this person gets to the point where they have paid up through the current taxes, then we'll issue a quitclaim deed on the foreclosure.
Yeah.
So,
Should we do a motion?
well, we need to talk
Yeah.
about this,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
we're gonna need to do a motion, so. This, she's just gonna pay for this 1 year that she's
No, so,
gonna pay for every year, right?
yes, so at the top of the first sheet, there is,
Okay.
under Cheyenne's note, there's the
The year
22
2022.
taxes that are due, the 23 taxes that are due, and the 24 taxes that are due from September, not the March 2025 taxes.
Yeah,
And so that, yeah, so that's all the tax that she needs to make sure that she gets paid
mhm.
to the town on, and I think she's gonna try to do a monthly payment of, was it?
$314.50.
Right. So,
Does she have the ability to do that?
yes,
Okay.
so Cheyenne has been working with her to verify, that she can make those payments, that she has, she's employed, she gets an income and, you know, she's got the money that she can do it as it comes in. It's not something that she's got $3,000 in the bank that she, or
Right.
$2,200 in the bank, she can pay right now. So,
What happens if she misses a payment or?
well, that's part of, Well, this is- once it goes into foreclosure, it comes on the town manager to manage that property. So it's up to me to decide what do we do? Do we accept payments on it? Do we allow the people to continue living there if they're making payments and they're trying to catch their taxes up? The foreclosure laws in the state of Maine and selling foreclosed properties have changed drastically in the last 5 years. And so there's really no instance where the town wants to take that property. We want to keep that property united with the delinquent taxpayer. And so that's why we're working to make that payment arrangement to figure it out. Because even if we took the property and we took title to the property and we decided we were gonna sell it, it would be 12 months before we could even do an auction.
And then the excess would go to her anyways.
The excess would go to her.
We wouldn't make any money. The laws changed
Right.
now.
It's really,
So we wouldn't, it used to be before, you know, whatever was excess, the town got, but that's not
And
even
then
the
we
case
sold it, most
anymore.
generally, most are sold.
Right,
Right.
so if you could find somebody that was really, that can do it.
and we certainly don't want to make somebody homeless in the middle of winter either.
No. Do you think that she's sincere with her?
I think she
With her,
is, she's, yes,
And this is the first time this person has ever been,
delinquent.
I'm not saying she's never been delinquent in the past, but let's face it, I was there for many years. She never showed up in my foreclosures list ever. So I don't know what, life happens, but,
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, she is sincere. She's had many conversations with Cheyenne, and she's been into the office several times to, you know, work through things. And she's embarrassed, you know, that she let it get to this point. So, so the motion would be to accept, to authorize me to accept the payment plan, basically.
And the foreclosure does not go away until she's caught up
That's correct.
completely.
It
with-
stays in foreclosure, basically, we would be the owners, but she would be responsible for all of, you know, her utilities, any other taxes that accrue on the property. None of that comes into our name, you know, water, sewer, electric, that's all on her.
Insurance and all that,
Insurance, yeah,
even though we don't really own it anyway right now, right?
we kind of do.
But the foreclosure isn't final. I mean.
oh, no, the
It is.
closure
Oh, it
was
is
final last
Okay.
Friday.
Yeah,
I didn't
you
realize
can't,
that.
you
No.
can't make it, you can't make it disappear.
No.
Well,
Right.
we-
The only thing you do is put them back.
Yeah. So if there's anything that needs to change in that document, let me know. Maybe things like, making sure that she understands that she's responsible for the utilities and the insurance. That should be in that document.
This is different than the ones that we had done in the past, which it doesn't make it doesn't necessarily make it wrong, and I'm not saying that. I guess part of my concern. And I don't know, I can't really, I can't wrap my head around to think about it right on the spot, I guess, is the fact that we will have another commitment before September 18th. She's gonna have other taxes that are gonna be due before September 18th, 2025.
Okay.
It seems like this should be completed before that. That's what I feel like that should be a thing, but I'm not 100% sure that that matters or not.
Okay, hang on just a second. So you said it was $314 a month?
Yeah.
7 months. So before September, she would have had it paid off at almost paid off at $198 at $314 times 7 months.
Right.
So
But she's
a couple dollars short. And then she owes the March part of this tax year. So,
Right.
okay. Let's figure that in. All right, I'll work with Cheyenne on that.
Yeah, and also I have another question. If this foreclosure has been finalized and she doesn't own the property, is she required to insure it or are we required to?
you know, she is, but
Well, if we're
I'm
gonna,
not familiar. with
if
that.
we're gonna accept payments on the taxes, we can
But it needs to
require
be
her,
insured.
we can require her to insure it.
did Cheyenne, and I'm just asking because I don't know, did she check with MMA legal just to make sure that that is the way that we should have this all worded so that we don't, I mean, I'm good with going into an agreement. That's not my, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Did she get any kind of guidance from MMA legal just to make sure that,
I believe she did. I'm asking her right now. She's on this Zoom link.
to make sure that, everything is done the way it should be
Mhm.
and
I know that she also wants us to send it off to Ken Lexier to make sure that we've got the.
I would say that's a great.
Yeah.
Reviewed by him.
MMA legal be suffice because we already paid for that service. I feel like they would be
Depends on what they say.
Right, well,
because
yeah, I don't know if they would. If they would advise on a specific document or if they would advise on the process. So if they're only advising on the process, then it's a matter of the specifics in the document itself. That should go to Ken Lexier.
And
Okay, so she's saying. That is a version off from MMA. That she changed for the Madison wording. And it's also been used in other municipalities in court.
did you, so, and you're just gonna confirm that that's September 18th
Everything would be paid by then.
before our tax commitment?
Commitment, yes.
So, because it would only be a matter of a few dollars a month difference.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will make a motion for that agreement, the taxes, you guys wanna look at it?
So the dollar amount is gonna change. To make sure that we can add the March. Okay, so don't add the dollar amount into the motion, just authorize me to make the agreement. For that account.
I'll make a motion to go into agreement to, what account number is that? I think it says on that middle. Is it 365?
2065.
2065. I make a motion to go into a purchase agreement with,
Payment.
taxes. What's that?
Payment.
Payment arrangement
Yeah.
for, account 2065 for the year 22, right, 22, 23, and 24.
Yeah.
Second.
Any further discussion or questions for anyone? Yes, sir.
I just want to commend the town manager and Cheyenne and whoever else was involved in this. Keep this lady in her home.
Thank you.
Great. Discussion, all in favor?
Thank you. And that's all I had on my town manager's report.
Okay.
What, do we need to discuss those others?
Oh. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Seven more,
Oh,
Robert.
boy.
Sorry. We have, eight other foreclosures and, I have not. These have all been foreclosed upon. I have not had a chance to reach out to any of them yet to try to work on getting. No, I'm sorry, hers is in here, so. There's 8 total foreclosures, 7 others in addition to that, account. And I will be trying to reach out to them and try to make a similar, plea that we can somehow get them so that we don't have to abandon their property to the town.
Are they houses that people live in and stuff?
One of them is on, so that's like mobile
That's
homes.
the mobile home.
Uh-huh. This one is land only, land and building, land and building, land and building. And then building.
Are they all from 22 forward?
22 forward, yes.
The people are still living in them?
I haven't, I don't have all of that information. I know that Cheyenne has reached out to as many of the people as she could get hold of. Some of them we can't, we don't have contact information for them. One of them is a house on Madison Ave or Maple Street that is abandoned, but there is a squatter in it right now.
Oh, dear.
So, and the person that owns it lives in Connecticut or Rhode Island or something. So that's one that's gonna be a little on the tricky side.
Uh-huh, and that can be an issue.
Yeah, there's no water, there's no running water,
Oh, dear God.
so. That's, yeah. That was gonna be a problem.
Is the person living in it related to the person that owns it or just sort of moved in?
Just sort of moved in, they found an empty spot. Yep.
Sure.
How much of a relative it's not number, what she's gonna do.
Anything more?
So, yeah, I'm gonna follow up on those. And see what I can do to possibly
Maybe we'll have an update.
take some of those off.
Have an update at the next meeting.
Yeah, so one of the things that may be useful, and this is going back to my prior life in the state treasurer's office. There's, and I don't know if Kathy, if you ever use this or not, but there's a tool called Accurant from LexisNexis that can help locate people with more current information. It's a subscription service. And I don't remember what the cost is, but it was like, if you found somebody, it might have been 25 to 50 cents per record. And if you didn't find anybody, if you didn't get a result from the search, then they didn't charge you. So I'm thinking I'd like to, try to do something like that which is a much more in-depth financial resource for people than something, say like, People Finder or some other internet search. So I will probably talk to somebody about getting an account set up for that, for the town, so that we can do that on a regular basis.
We Need to do anything, something like that, or?
No, I think it's,
No,
if, that would be in my budget.
Right, okay. Okay. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Business? Okay, on your new business, letter G, number 1, budget preparation meetings and advisory board schedule. I see we have a schedule here.
Yeah.
Updated.
Yes.
Right.
So the budget advisory is gonna start on Monday, March 17th. And then Wednesday, March 19th, if needed. And then if we still need to go further, then it will be the following Wednesday. And those would be here in this room.
Here, yeah.
And I've started meeting with my department heads. I've met with Julie, I've met with Jeff. I have a meeting scheduled with Danny and with, Donnie French. I'm trying to think who else I need to worry about. I've already got a contact information, pricing from George Demchek about the ambulance service. And, oh, and the other one I'm meeting with is, Tim about the sheriff's contract. So at the next meeting, I should have more information and
And the library too.
the library, yep. So,
Okay. All right. Any questions, any further discussion on it? No? Okay. Number 2, fill vacancy on planning board, alternate member opening.
Rich Cormier has resigned from the planning board. He also resigned from the school board. And, he has not resigned, to my knowledge, from the advisory board, the budget advisory board. But we need to, as an alternate member on the planning board, it's not as critical to get him replaced right away. So I'm gonna put it, I've got it out there on the town sign and I'll put it on the website, you know, we're looking for somebody to fill that vacancy.
As an alternate.
But yes, as an alternate, but I don't have anybody to present to you tonight.
Okay. And moving on to 3, fill vacancy on the appeals board.
Yes, Christine Stratton has resigned from the appeals board due to health issues. So
Are you gonna?
we're gonna try to, yeah, I'm gonna try to find somebody to serve on the appeals board before, we've got 2 appeals now.
Yeah.
We've got the one from 55 Weston on the taxes, and then we've got a code violation appeal.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Is that it on that then?
yep,
Everybody's all set? Okay. Okay, number 8, letter H, citizens' concerns. Nothing?
You just say an appeal for 55 Weston Avenue
Appeal for the taxes, yeah.
of taxes, okay, was he getting overcharged or? What's,
he's appealing the assessment.
talking about those new buildings,
Right.
the old school.
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else? No? Select board concerns. This is Steve. You're all good, Mr. B?
I'm good.
Okay, I think I'm pretty good right now too.
Jeff
Okay.
answered mine about the boat.
What's that?
Jeff answered mine about the boat.
Yeah. Probably they are bad. I guess we need a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
All right, meeting adjourned at 7:29.
Very good.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Sorry I was late. Didn't mean to keep you too long.
Thank you.
Get charged that land, you start with.